want to make sure that they're not in rush hour traffic, blah, blah, blah. All of those.
Because they could, if they're hopping on in rush hour traffic, they could end up being the cause of rush hour traffic.
Exactly.
Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, and good night. Joe, DrEnergy Piazza.
RaRa is in the house. Catherine Sarah Myers.
Welcome back to BU Network Podcast, Conversations Worth Having.
So let's do some raw BU podcast.
Rapping RaRa.
Oh, I love that.
DrEnergy. That brings back some memories, doesn't it? And this speaks to, though, consistency and staying up on the trends. What is the current platform that people are using, and how can we get our message out there?
So we did some research as to when would people listen.
Right.
And just before American football on Sunday nights, we would get 150 people listening to us.
Right.
At 8:00 because football was at 9.
Right.
And then they'd go right to football.
Right.
So we found a way to be part of the lifestyle and talk about something that was fun and interesting. And then they went right into something pleasurable. So engaging sometimes is as simple as fitting it into the lunch hour or the dinner hour or the time you're going to get yourself ready. Or
well, it's really interesting because our whole world and the culture around how people consume media has really shifted, especially with the younger generation. So I would consider myself Generation X, right? So millennials and younger are basically don't really do appointment viewing. The only real appointment viewing that people do is Gen X boomers older, where they watch the news at the same time on the same channel every night, or the same television show on the same channel every Wednesday or whatever. More and more people are consuming the media asynchronously. So they go and watch it when they have time. And for some people, that might be in the bathroom. Some people, that might be riding the bus to or from work, or the train, or whatever it might be, or traveling on the plane. They binge watch 6 or 7 episodes. So how can we be consistent in our production of content so that we can hit both of those demographics? So we can put content out on a regular basis, but also then people can consume it in a binge way if they want.
right. Well, that leads me to, I have a binge partner, and David watches things and he'll say, I have something for you. And we will want to go to an easy place and bookmark it and subscribe so that we can consume that content. So if the content is pushed out every week or every month, he or me, we may not go there regularly, but we know it's recorded. We know it's there. So we can go back to it. So I think the idea of being consistent makes a lot of sense for the time zone we're in. That gives us the ability to be consistent.
Right.
And then with the global time and people that are going to watch us, well, some people might get up at 2 a.m. and some people might not. The best piece of advice I got was when you build yourself into a time slot where people are either getting ready to eat or getting ready to go to work, and they can put you on and listen or watch you, it's effortless because they could get ready for work or get ready. So cooking shows, when do you want to watch them? When you're ready to cook, right? You don't want to watch them when you're not cooking.
Yeah. It's like you said, you want to put it in a way that creates the least amount of friction for people. Because if there's too much friction, they're going to click away. So if we can reduce the friction of engagement for people, it makes it easier for them to consume our content. And this is one of the reasons when you go to subscribe to a channel on YouTube or TikTok or wherever, clicking the bell for notifications and customizing the notifications that you get helps remind you, there's a new show to watch. And then, another notification. There's another one. So then you can then binge watch them or schedule it, or you can watch, or you can go and watch it right away as soon as it goes live. You at least then have the option that way.
Well, we have a tip as a couple that I'd like to offer. We have certain times of the day that we watch and listen to certain things. So we may not be the only people who do this. For example, we watch anything funny late at night.
It's a good way
As
to
much as
go to bed.
Right. As much as we want to know what our bodies are doing and how it's transforming and how our cells are doing, we don't listen to that before bed. We listen to that in the morning. So
Right.
we could take action during the day on that. And we can say, all right, how is that going to affect our food, our nutrition, our choices,
Right.
our exercise? When it's time to laugh during the day, it's not that we don't want to laugh, but we tell enough jokes to each other. Just before bed, we'll put something on and we will laugh and really have sort of a commonality about laughing with each other and laughing at that, because we do have our devices on us. So if
Right.
we're downstairs in the kitchen, we just finished with dishes and stuff, we'll just stand it on the counter and we'll just sit there for a minute. And then if we're going to go to bed, we'll decide, do we bring that to bed with us or not? But that's when we time zone how we're
Right.
going to listen to content. So if we're going to talk to people about how to do something, AKA improving their business, we'd have to think about when is their zone to consume content that they could either take action on, or like before I go to bed, I listen to things that help me to go to sleep. I know if you want to study on something, you can study and go to sleep. I would love to think that people go to sleep listening to us, but we'd have to give them information that would be really
only if you talk like this and gentle and quiet as you slowly drift off to sleep.
The information would have to be really aligned with them being rested.
Yes.
So if we have content that's actionable, that requires technology to view it and review it, it probably won't be when they're ready to go to bed or when they first wake up. They're going to be logged into their devices when they're going to listen to us. And then we're going to have to fight the clock, the 9 to 5. When do people do that, right?
And this is where micro-learning comes in, right, too. Right? If you make them bite-sized pieces of learning that somebody could listen and then go and take an action on right away, they're more likely to, and they find it useful, they're more likely to come back and do it and use your information again, or seek out more of your information. And if they catch enough of those micro-learning aspects, then they're more likely to also click through into some of your longer form content to dig deeper and learn more.
So if we're looking for engagement from the audience, because we were doing those lives every week when we were on that other platform, if we're looking for engagement, then we want to think about, are they in the car? Because I run courses where people are in the car and they're actually taking my courses.
Right. Which they shouldn't be doing. They shouldn't be doing, but that's a whole other issue.
But they're not, there's no camera, they're listening. So basically they're in listen mode. I understand.
It's still the concentration there level is.
But we can't stop people from
No, you can't. You can't stop. I would just say be safe. That's all.
Exactly. And whether it's recorded or live, we don't know when people are going to be listening to us. So we might have something and someone will say, when can I listen to it? I'll listen to your podcast in the car. What are we going to say? Okay, I'm glad you're listening to it. If you and I are speaking, of course, we want people's eyes on the roads.
Of course.
But I know, I hear from most people, I'm just going to listen to that when I'm in the car.
Right.
And I understand that we do need to focus on the road. And I try not to listen to something that will allow my mind to go somewhere else, because I might drift. So when I'm in the car, I really like to listen to music, because music keeps me. So what I'm saying is people will choose when they hop on. And if we want engagement, we want to make sure that they're not in rush hour traffic, blah, blah, blah. All of those,
because they could, if they're hopping on in rush hour traffic, they could end up being the cause of rush hour traffic.
Exactly. So we want to think about, when are you in front? We might want to ask our audience, when are you in front of your device and most available to engage? Is it before lunch? Is it after 4 o'clock? Before you get, are you rushing to get out of, one location and go to another? So that's sort of what we can find out about. I feel like people want to do what we have to offer when they're fresh. I feel like our content is uplifting, right? And it's inspiring and it's motivational. And I feel that if we listen to us in the morning, that would give us a great start.
I just had some I was on somebody else's live stream the other day. I think it was actually yesterday, and got some great feedback from them about what we do. And they were just very complimentary of the knowledge that we share. Not, patting ourselves on the back or anything, but patting ourselves on the back. But
I'll
it was
pat
just,
you on the
but it
back.
was, it's nice to hear that feedback from people that we're making a difference for them in their life. And that's, a huge part of why we do what we do. So it was great. It was great. It was really nice to hear that.
It is nice to hear. Thank you for sharing that, because we want to give value when people can consume it.
Yes.
Content, right? I see people signing up for courses and buying things and maybe finishing it, maybe not. Sometimes people are just consumer junkies.
Yes.
We really are looking for someone. Yes, right. We want them to consume what we have to offer and then come back for more by applying some of it, if not all of it, because we're really that between two Sicilians, right? You have no idea what we're going to be getting from someone, and we put it together, we put it in the oven, we bake it, we take it out, and we make it look absolutely fantastic. But who would think to put pasta on top of pizza, and how good could that look? And this guy just makes it. He's on Instagram. Just check him out if it's Grub Daddy or Grub Father. Sebastian Maniscalco recommended him. And he goes in and makes the most amazing things that ooze out, cashew butter and cheese and amazing. And I believe
stop. We're close to dinner time and you're making me hungry.
I know, I'm starving myself. I feel that that's what we do, that we are the Grub Father of BU network production, where we take things and then we make these yummy outcomes that just bring people to a new height, like you said, where it's giving content.
It's helping, people that come to work with us. It's helping them take what they've got, and we help them. And because we're not so emotionally invested in their content, because it's their content, right? We're obviously emotionally invested in our own content. But when we can bring a different perspective or set of eyes to what other people bring to us and help them shift it around and repackage it and then put it out into the world in a more coherent way, that somebody else will want to consume the content. And when we produce that and edit the videos and make the sound really good and all of these things, it just creates something new. Like you said, you pull it out of the oven and you're like, oh my God, it looks amazing.
Right. Nobody even thought that was possible.
Right.
Sometimes people get stuck. It's happened to us. Get stuck in your thoughts in the way that you do things, right? You golf, you play sports, you approach the ball, you're skiing, you have certain habits, you're bowling, you're going into the gym, you do certain things, you stretch, you think the stretch means I can't do anymore. Is the stretch a good thing? You have all these preconceived notions about what our body is messaging and what it's giving us. And people go into their businesses with preconceived notions that bring pauses. And when you get between us, we're not invested in those pauses. We're not invested in those hiccups. So we look at it fresh. So we don't even see the hiccup that client sees, because we're looking at it with fresh eyes.
Right. And that's the thing. When you work with us, you work with both of us, not just one of us, both of us. So you get that extra perspective, that extra expertise, the years of experience, all
of it. Is there a song, something?
Well, there was the movie All of Me with Steve Martin and Lily Tomlin. Absolutely recommend it. One of my favorite movies.
Thank you for joining us. Sharing is caring. Tell your friends about conversations worth having on BU Network. We really appreciate your reviews, and you can do that on Apple Podcasts. Thank you.
For show notes and links, go to www.b-u.network/podcasts. Connect with us via our website, www.b-u.network.
We're looking forward to hearing from you, and thank you for being with us. Ciao.
Ciao, babies. All right. I think it's almost time for dinner. I'm getting hungry.
My dinner's ready. Yep.
Oh, I still have to go cook.
Oh, all right. Well, time to eat for me.
All right.